The Oscars, one of the best nights in television, one of my personal favorite moments of the year. I look forward to seeing the nominations. I look forward to seeing who wins that night every year. But yeah, they're coming up in March is when they were supposed to go live, of course. But recently, they announced the nominations for all their categories for Best Picture, Best Actor, Supporting Role, so on and so forth. And in today's video, I kind of want to go over some of those nominations, give you a little bit of my thoughts, because, I don't know, I think this is the first year where I feel really compelled to make a video about it. I mean, I don't know why I didn't do it previous years, but I'm very excited to talk about it. There's some surprises here and there, some very obvious inclusions, but yeah, we're going to talk about it, and I would love to know what your thoughts are in the comment section below as well. Here we go. All right, this comes to us from NPR. See the full list of 2026 Oscar nominations. All right, here we go. I guess we can read at least this first paragraph because, yes, some records, maybe one record has been broken. No, a couple of records have been broken, but really one notable one here. Nominations for the 2026 Oscars are out, with Sinners leading the pack with a record 16 nominations for an individual movie. Oh my God, 16 nominations. Can you believe it for one single movie? This is insane. Does that mean Sinners is going to be the winner and it's going to just sweep across all these categories? I don't know. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, but let's keep going here. Yeah, we're just going to skip all this here. Yeah, I mean, the second biggest one battle after another, and then Marty Supreme, of course, I think got 9 nominations in total. Yeah, let's just go right into it with the biggest category, Best Picture. We got Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Okay, so let's first talk about Begonia. I have not seen Begonia, so I'm not starting this video strong. I haven't seen it. Really, it's one of those movies that got like extremely limited release, at least where I'm at. I'm in the western part of the United States, so you would think I would at least get quite a bit. I mean, I'm not in California, but still, I was so disappointed. That's a whole other topic here with these movie theaters and just the limited theatrical windows. And some of these movies, I really don't think, even get shown, the 45-day window that is sort of the standard. Like it's pretty insane. But Begonia, I have not seen. The director, of course, Yorgos Lanthimos, director of Poor Things, and what's that one? The one with Willem Dafoe. Well, he uses Willem Dafoe a lot. Kinds of Kindness, there it is. That's another one I didn't really see because I heard a lot of bad reviews from that one. But I'm getting to a point now in my movie watching endeavor. I used to be the guy that would try to see every single movie, like just really go the mile for it. And lately I have been getting burned out by doing that because sometimes I would go watch a movie that has bad reviews and I watch it and I'm like, they were right. And so I walk out like halfway in the middle of the movie and I just feel like I wasted time. God forbid if I watch the whole entire damn thing. So I'm a little bit more hesitant to, and also just, I'm getting older. I'm 27. Responsibilities are increasing. Stuff is just happening in my life. And so it's like, I don't want to waste my time watching something that is probably going to be bad, right? That being said, there's plenty of movies that get great reviews and I watch them and I think they're awful. And also, there's a lot of movies that a lot of critics hate, and I watch them and I like them. So I guess that's the one thing that sort of makes me want to go watch those movies. I, at the very least, will walk out halfway through the movie if it's awful. But Begonia, I really liked Poor Things. I thought it was a very unique type of movie, sort of a modern Frankenstein movie. I think it's based on a book, but it's a fairly modern story as well. So really, really awesome. Kinds of Kindness, like I said, didn't really go see it because I heard bad reviews. Begonia, I heard some decent, reviews about it. I mean, it wasn't like everybody was like raving about it. I don't think people called it a masterpiece or anything. I saw the trailer and I wasn't really in it. I don't know. don't get me wrong, I love weird and sort of abstract films, but this one just seemed a little bit too weird. I was just like, this is just bizarre. And I think that's sort of the point. So I am totally going to give it a shot. I mean, if it's nominated for Best Picture, I think I have to go watch it. But everything else, well, with the exception of 2 other movies. So I haven't watched 3 of the 10 nominees, okay? Sue me. But F1 here, I definitely saw this movie in IMAX, where it was meant to be seen. I'm a little bit surprised with this nomination, mainly because this is such a blockbuster film. And yes, there are blockbuster films as well in these nominations, but I think F1 is just the most I don't know, for a lack of a better term, basic bitch blockbuster film. You know what I mean? It has great actors in it, right? Brad Pitt, what's his name? Hispanic dude, married to Penelope Cruz, Javier Bardem. There it is. Fantastic. I mean, it's great stuff. I saw the film. It was a lot of fun. It was incredibly well made. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, the guy who did Top Gun Maverick, right? So it's totally an amazing film. I mean, in that respect, it's a blockbuster. It hits all the right notes. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's funny, it's dramatic. That's what a blockbuster is supposed to do, right? And so I watched it and thought it was great, but I mean, is it a cinematic masterpiece in terms of depth and probably not, you know what I mean? But it's great. So I don't know. I'm a little bit perplexed by it, but I mean, it's got Javier Bardem, it's got Brad Pitt, and I think Top Gun Maverick got nominated for Best Picture too last year or back in 2022 when it came out. I could very well be wrong, but it was also sort of a film that was decently recognized. So maybe the same thing is happening here with, well, not maybe, it is happening with F1. I guess it shouldn't be that surprising if we're paying attention, right? Then we got a Frankenstein, which is a very, very nice surprise. It's this limited Netflix theatrically released film. It is, of course, directed by Guillermo del Toro. It's got Jacob Elordi, Oscar Isaac. So, it has a lot of cachet to it, but at the same time, it felt like a smaller sort of joint, that I'm surprised the Academy would recognize, but I guess at the same time, you could say I'm sort of contradicting myself, right? Because they also nominated F1. So they definitely like to nominate these dichotomies of films, right? From Frankenstein to F1. So I guess that's pretty cool, right? Sort of nominating this diversity and range of films. This is one of my personal favorites from this list. I saw it. I got to see it in theaters. CGI is a little iffy in the film, but it is absolutely incredible. I think it is anything Guillermo del Toro does. I'm just in it, dude. I'm totally in it, and it's just a fantastic, sort of. It's Frankenstein, right? But it is told sort of in a more not modern way, because it's still set in that sort of time. I think it's faithful-ish to Mary Shelley's novel. But I think it still was very modern. And I guess it was a little bit similar to Shape of Water, when it comes to Guillermo del Toro's themes and trying to relate to this animal, beast type of thing. So, it's got a few things that Guillermo del Toro loves, but the cinematography, the story, and some of the action too is awesome in the film. I didn't expect it to be action heavy, but it is. So it's good stuff. I'm very surprised. Hamnet is a movie I recently got to see, and it is when I came out watching it, it didn't really hit me that much. I mean, I understood why it was powerful and why it was really good, but it was only until literally now where I'm understanding just how amazing this film is. I'm not a big Shakespeare dude other than maybe Romeo and Juliet, but I'm not huge. But it's the Academy, right? It's film, right? Shakespeare's going to be huge. So not surprising to see this movie there. It's masterclass filmmaking, I would say, and the acting is incredible. Marty Supreme. This one's a big contender, I think, for Best Picture. I watched it. It is another personal favorite. I've made a video about it. You should go check it out, but this film is absolutely incredible. One battle after another. My God, I wish I made a video on this film, but it's just one of those where I watched it and I was like, this is a I was going to say masterpiece, but I don't want to throw that word too much, but it's a fantastic, phenomenal film. I watched it and I was like, this is top tier filmmaking right here. So Paul Thomas Anderson, of course, no surprise there. I think this one's a big contender as well. But The Secret Agent, this is a film I have not yet watched. Apparently, I think it's set in Brazil and dictatorship. I think I could be wrong. It's probably really good. But I have not watched it. I don't think this one's a contender to win Best Picture. It could be a dark horse, but probably not. I mean, I don't know. Depending on how the Academy is feeling, Sentimental Value. My God. Directed by Joachim Trier. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But director of Worst Person in the World, one of my favorite movies of all time. Worst Person in the World, easy. Sentimental Value, equally as awesome. Maybe not equally, but almost as equally awesome as Worst Person in the World. I think it sort of traverses very similar themes that we've had before, that I've seen in movies as of late, and so it didn't really hit me in that respect. But it is, I think, still unique, and it is very, very... It is very dark, it incredibly dark, and I really respected it for that reason. And the filmmaking is incredible, the writing, the pacing, the editing, the cinematography is absolutely amazing. Very nice to see an Oscar nomination here. And then we got Sinners, the fan favorite, I would say, right? Like if the Golden Globes has that terrible cinematic and box office achievement award, but if the Oscars had something similar like that, Sinners would definitely just scoop that up. I mean, it was the movie that normal people who don't go to the movies talked about. You know what I mean? Like that was the movie, and it was insane because it didn't even hit $1 billion or anything like that. But it's a movie that a good sizable amount of people went to go see, and people loved it. It was insane. It just, the amount of reach that movie had is incredible. So awesome there. Train Dreams. This is a movie, a Netflix film that I have not been able to see yet. Very excited to see it, actually, once I saw the premise. But I don't think this one has any chance of winning, but it's nice to see it being nominated. I mean, come on. So, which film will potentially take this award? I think it's going to be one battle after another. I mean, in a way, you sort of can see the Golden Globes, right? And you can sort of, they're not like the Golden Globes and the SAG Awards, which I think are differently named now, but the SAG Awards and the Golden Globes, pay attention to those who win those awards, and it gives you sort of an idea of who will potentially win in the Oscars. And I think one battle after another is going to win just Best Picture in general. It has Leonardo DiCaprio in it. It's got Benicio del Toro in it. It's got Sean Penn. Everybody kills it in that film. Like I said, it's top tier filmmaking when I went to go see that movie. The third act of that film is absolutely incredible. I mean, I was just completely mesmerized. It probably was my favorite third act of any film here on this list. So it could very well be that this film will take it. I think it's likely. It's just a very, it's a safe sort of choice. I think, when you think of like Oscar critics and like, you think of like cinema and like, gotta check the framing and the fucking little pinky up and like little Winnie the Pooh with the tuxedo outfit and cinema. Like this is the cinephiles movie. Like this is the movie that like cinephiles will watch. You know what I mean? So, and it's just screams like Academy and Oscar. That is what this movie is, and I think it'll win. I think you could make a case for Hamnet and Marty Supreme, 100%. I think you can. I don't see Marty Supreme winning. I don't know. I just don't think there's enough steam for that movie. I really don't. I think Marty Supreme is going to win in other categories, but maybe not in Best Picture. Hamnet, I think, can be a dark horse, even though it's not, because it's a total fan favorite as well, or a critic favorite, that is. So yeah, I mean, that's sort of my educated guess. I think it's one battle after another. When it comes to my personal desire, or my personal pick, personal pick, if I'm completely being biased, I think it would be awesome to see Frankenstein win. I don't know. I mean, I think Guillermo won Best Picture for Shape of Water. So maybe, and Shape of Water was a better film than Frankenstein, but I think Frankenstein was just, it was such a perfectly emotional film. It's a flower. It's a gem of a film. I think it has the perfect amount of sort of grandness and cinephiliness, while also being just incredibly human and just grounded. And it's pretentious enough, but also not. I don't know. It's a beautiful, almost perfect film when it comes to that. That would be my personal pick in terms of who I would like to see win. Another film, maybe Marty Supreme, 100%. I mean, Sentimental Value winning too would be fantastic. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, that's another film too that just is a complete gut punch, and so is Hamnet. I think Sentimental Value is so dark, and that would probably be my pick if if I wake up depressed, which is 50% of the time. So maybe on my depressed days, I would pick Sentimental Value. But maybe Sentimental Value or Frankenstein is my absolute personal pick. And if I'm going a little bit less personal, Marty Supreme. And then if I'm going super duper duper film critic-y, one battle after another. All right, second category, we got performance by an actor in a leading role. Timothée Chalamet with Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon. My God, I still haven't seen Ethan Hawke's film Blue Moon. Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, and Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent. Okay, I think I'm just gonna say, in terms of my educated guess, I think Timothée Chalamet is going to take this, mainly because not just his performance in Marty Supreme is phenomenal; it's top tier. But also he's really the marketing train is just really on his side. I really think so. He's been a topic of discussion for, a good section of the latter end of 2025, thanks to the marketing campaign to Marty Supreme and just how he has been talking about his career. He himself almost has artificially generated this end result. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So, say what you want about the quality of his performance, but you can't deny that in terms of the virality of Timothée Chalamet and what this award means to him and what it could mean for his role as an actor. I mean, totally. I could totally see Timothée Chalamet winning, right? It would just be the perfect cherry on top to everything he has been doing. I also made a video about that. You could check that out. Leonardo DiCaprio, that is his biggest competition because it's Leo. I mean, come on. Now, Leo, as iconic as he is, he's only won an Oscar as an actor for Best Actor once, and that was for The Revenant. Even though he, there's plenty of other roles he probably should have won it for. I thought his performance in One Battle After Another was great. It was cool, but to me, it wasn't really it didn't really hit as much as Marty Supreme. I'll tell you right now. And I think it has to do with the fact that Sean Penn, Tiana Taylor, the supporting roles in that film, Benicio del Toro, even the child, I don't even think she is a child, but the younger actress, the younger main lead of that film, I think she's phenomenal too. It's just a very crowded film, and I think Leo, sure carries it. But it's not the most interesting role. I mean, it does what it needs to do. I think the movie just works as a whole rather than just looking at each individual part, except for maybe Sean Penn in the supporting role. But I wouldn't pick Leo. I just wouldn't. It was a great role, and I think he was fantastic in it. Just one of the best of the year. I'm glad he was nominated, but I don't see him winning. I just don't. I could see, in terms of my educated guess, I could totally see the Academy going for Leo again. But I think Timothy should win it. However, Michael B. Jordan with Sinners, dude, I mean, the dude was essentially playing twins. You know what I mean? Just straight up. And it was just these subtle differences between, Smoke and Stack. Like, it was all about the subtlety of it. And I think Michael just did a fantastic job at that. It was absolutely incredible. So if he wins it, I wouldn't be surprised. However, Timothée Chalamet did win the Golden Globe, for example, too. So this is what I'm saying is you sort of have to pay attention. And Michael B. Jordan, unfortunately, didn't win. So I think if there's anybody that's going to win, it's got to be probably Timothy, as much as it would be awesome for Michael B. Jordan to win. All right, next up, we got performance by an actor in a supporting role. We got Benicio del Toro, Jacob Elordi, Delroy Lindo. Oh my God, Delroy Lindo with Sinners. That is an Oscar nomination for that man has just been a long time coming. I mean, the first role I ever saw him in, Blood and Blood Out. As the leader of the African-American gang in that film. Just killer. So this guy's been in the industry for decades. He very well deserves this. Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård with Sentimental Value. I think it's going to go to Sean Penn. I just think he's sort of the critic favorite. I think, Jacob Elordi's not going to win, even though it was cool that he got the nomination. I don't think he's going to win, though. Stellan Skarsgård could very well be somebody that wins, and I think the dark horse is Delroy Lindo. Benicio del Toro he was good, but I don't think nowhere near sort of the impact as these other roles. The dark horse I think could be Delroy Lindo, that is, but it's either between Sean Penn and Stellan. Stellan won the Golden Globe for this in this category, so. Sean Penn was hilarious. It was awesome. It was awesome to see him. It's great to see him like in such a dweebish role, even though he plays like a sort of military like officer in that film. Is just hilarious. All right, performance by an actress in a leading role: Jessie Buckley with Hamnet, Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You. I haven't seen this film again. My theaters, man, just not showing these films, dude. What a shame. Kate Hudson with Song Sung Blue. Haven't seen that film, although I heard it's a nice little movie, it was a surprising nomination, honestly. And Renate Rensve, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, but she's one of my favorite actresses. Of course, she was the main actress in Worst Person in the World. So very, very cool here. Sentimental Value, of course, Emma Stone, Begonia. Emma Stone, unfortunately, I don't think is going to win. She did win her Oscar for Poor Things, but it was interesting seeing her get nominated again, honestly. Pretty cool. Good for her. I think the Golden Globe was given to Jessie Buckley, and I think the critic favorite is also going to be Jessie Buckley. And if you saw Hamnet and Jessie in that movie, she was mind-blowing. She was incredible, man. I mean, she portrayed suffering and rage, with such competency and such brilliance in that film. And then Renate, I think, was absolutely awesome as well. She's my personal favorite, honestly. I think she's a fantastic actress in terms of, she's not like the most boisterous actress. Like when you think of Jessie Buckley and then like Renate, like it's sort of two opposites. Like, like for the most part, I'm sure Renate could do a fantastic job in delivering a powerhouse performance, but the movie is just it's about the nuance, and I think she did fantastic. I think in many ways too, even supporting actors in that movie did better than her. Honestly, not did better. Their roles were better. Like their roles were just a little bit more pronounced. I don't know. That's just sort of my opinion, I guess there, but she is a fantastic actress, regardless, in a leading role, and she just has this sort of melancholicness and like just indifference. She portrays indifference in such a masterful way. When you think of indifference, like you feel like it gives you nothing to work with, but not when Renate does it. So I think it's going to go to Jessie Buckley, just easy. I don't know. I don't really see anybody else winning this. Not even like a dark horse or anything like that. It's going to be Jessie Buckley. Performance by an actress in a supporting role. This was interesting. Elle Fanning in Sentimental Value. She did a great job. I don't really see why they would do that, but she did a great job. Inga Ibs' daughter Lilius. It's got to go to her. It's got to go to her. Easy, dude. I mean, this is what I'm saying is I think the supporting role, specifically coming from her, she played Renate's sister in that film. She killed it. She absolutely killed it. My God. Just absolutely. Amy Madigan, Weapons, please God, no. You guys already know how I feel about Weapons. Wunmi Musaku, Sinners, I literally a role that I never even thought about. I cared more about Delroy Lindo than I cared more about this role in Sinners. So I think this is just the Oscars, being the Oscars, nominating this. And Tiana Taylor, One Battle After Another. Sure. I mean, it is a supporting role, but I don't know. I don't think it was powerful enough in the film, and it wasn't meant to be. I think it was. In terms of supporting roles, I think Sean Penn was just a much better supporting role, and because of that, I just don't really feel so strongly about Tiana Taylor's role here. I think it's got to go to Inga. Easy, dude. And if it goes to Elle Fanning, sure, she does a great job too, but I would give it to Inga. Give it to Inga. Best Animated Feature Film, Arco, Elio, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, Zootopia 2. Out of all these, I've only seen Zootopia 2, and I wasn't completely smitten by it as I was with the original Zootopia. I think this year was just incredibly weak for animated feature films, at least the ones that I've seen. Maybe Little Amelie is amazing, maybe Arco is amazing, but Elio, I heard, is not very good. K-Pop Demon Hunters is K-pop, and I could care less. But it's probably going to go to K-Pop Demon Hunters just because of how massive that was. So, it's probably that. Best Animated Short Film, I don't have enough knowledge on this. Achievement in Cinematography, Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Train Dreams. I can't say anything about Train Dreams, but I will tell you the cinematography for Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners is amazing. It's amazing. Oh boy. I think it's going to go to One Battle After Another. There was a couple moments in that film where I was like, my jaw just dropped. I was like, that's amazing. It was incredible. Just the decision to place the camera, the lighting, the framing, just killer, just absolute killer. I think the other movies are fantastic too, but and Sinners, I had a couple moments as well with that one. So it could either go with I think it's a race of two, One Battle and then Sinners. I think it'll still probably go to One Battle though. Maybe, I don't know. See, here's the thing with Sinners is that it was nominated for a shit ton of awards, and historically, films that are nominated for a lot of films that are nominated for a lot of awards, they don't really end up sweeping a lot. Sometimes it happens, but oftentimes you'll be surprised. You'll be like, oh my God, this movie got nominated for a shit ton of awards and it won 3. It's insane. And I think, not that I don't know what it's like to be I'm not an Oscar voter. I don't work for the Oscars, but I assume nominating a movie for a lot of awards is it goes to show just how impactful that movie was. I mean, like I said, Sinners is just, it feels like just the world favorite. Sinners, it's sort of Sinners, and because of that, it's just its reach and its impact is going across all of these categories, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to win, in the most important ones or a lot, right? So I could still, but it's going to win some. So maybe it'll win this one. I don't know, but I would probably at the end of the day pick One Battle After Another. Achievement in Costume Design. We got Avatar, Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners. This is a difficult one because all of these films, they're all set in older time periods, and so it's this the films that really succeed in this category, really only films that are set in older times are going to be the ones that get nominated because it's the most difficult, right? It's the most impressive, So it's interesting. I mean, all these Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Sinners, this is all set in older times. So It's kind of a contested category, I would say. It's kind of difficult. It could go to either one. I think it should go to Frankenstein at the end of the day. But is there a oh, you know what? No, okay. There is, of course. Yeah. Makeup and hairstyling, it's going to go to Frankenstein. Easy. But costume design, Marty Supreme, maybe. Again, this is contested. Avatar Fire, I don't see Avatar winning just because nobody cares about Avatar, unfortunately. If F1 could be nominated for Best Picture, it should be nominated. Avatar should be nominated for Best Picture as well. But whatever, nobody cares. It doesn't matter. This movie's making more money than any other film combined, so whatever. I'm going to die on a hill that Avatar is actually a a good film, a good series. It's not just, Dances with Wolves, the B tier version. It's not just soap opera. Like it is cinema. I will die on the hill. But anyways, it's probably going to go to either Marty Supreme or Sinners, honestly, just because I feel like with Hamnet, like it's not as impressive, the costume design, as opposed to Marty Supreme and Sinners, because Sinners and Marty Supreme are closer to modern times, and because of that, but they're still old enough, right, to be old, and so because of that, you have to, I think the expectation for perfection and the threshold for that is just much higher, because Hamnet, I feel like you could kind of just be like, it's just medieval times. Like, it's not, whatever. Marty Supreme and Sinners, though, they're set in very specific time periods. So you have to be like perfect with that, Marty Supreme, I think it's in the 50s or 40s, I think. So you got to be like on it, with that. You can't mess up. Sinners, same thing. Or 30s or 40s or something, I think. So you have to be super spot on with that, or else, or else it just doesn't fit, right? So, it's going to go to either Marty Supreme or Sinners. Achievement in directing here: Chloe Zhao, Hamnet; Josh Safdie, Marty Supreme; Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another; Joaquin Trier, Sentimental Value; Ryan Coogler, Sinners. Oh my God, I can't believe Guillermo del Toro wasn't nominated for Best Director. So that's interesting. Oh God, this is difficult. I think it's going to go to Paul Thomas Anderson too. For one, I think that's my educated Oscar, betting guess. I would love for it to go to either Josh Safdie, Joaquin Trier, or Ryan Coogler. I think that would be, any one of those guys would be incredible, but I think it's going to go to Paul Thomas Anderson. Best documentary feature film, I don't really have knowledge on that. Achievement in film editing, F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another; Sentimental Values, Sinners. What movie just had incredible pacing? Probably One Battle After Another. When you think of the fact that the movie's like almost 3 hours long, like, or so, it's insane, dude. Like, it's got to be One Battle After Another. Just the fact that movie felt like it wasn't as long as it was. One Battle After Another. Best international feature film, Sentimental Value, Surat, The Voice of Hind Rajab, The Secret Agent. I think this one is going to go to The Secret Agent. Because I think Norway with Worst Person in the World won when that movie came out, I think, Best International Feature. So I don't think they're going to double dip and give it to Joaquin Trier here. I think they're going to go with The Secret Agent. That one seems to be sort of like a critic pick. So I think I'm just going to say that, even though I haven't even seen it and I haven't even seen the majority of these. We'll skip achievement in casting. Achievement in makeup and hairstyling, like I said, it's going to go to Frankenstein. Just easy. The prosthetics in that film and Guillermo del Toro's sort of perfectionist mindset when it comes to that, bar none, dude. Top tier. It's got to go to Frankenstein. Sinners might get it. And then The Smashing Machine, it was cool to see Dwayne The Rock Johnson just be completely transformed. But I'm going to go with Frankenstein. Even though Sinners, the makeup and hairstyling for the vampires is really awesome too. So I don't know. Maybe Sinners could take it away from Frankenstein, but I think it's between those two. All right, next up, and this is a very, very, close to my heart type of category, just because I love music. Original score: Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, Sinners. Oh my God. So the score for both Frankenstein and Hamnet was amazing. Max Richter and Alexandra Desplat. Absolutely incredible. I didn't get to listen to Begonia's. But also the score for Marty Supreme was fantastic as well. I'm surprised that didn't get a nomination here. But it's going to be between Johnny Greenwood and Ludwig Göransson with Sinners and One Battle After Another. Because One Battle After Another's score was incredible. It definitely had a strong forefront identity in that film. Easy. And it increased the power and impact that film had. Sinners, the movie is borderline a musical too. So it's so unfortunate for Johnny Greenwood, although I think he's already won an Academy Award for music when it comes to, he did the score for Phantom Thread, which was a Paul Thomas Anderson film. And I think he won the Oscar for that one. So, it would be great to see it to go to, Radiohead again, right? But I think Ludwig Göransson is going to win for Sinners. And he won the Oscar for Oppenheimer. So honestly, God, that guy's on a roll. Honestly, the music in Sinners is so fundamental to its identity, like way more than any other film here. And so it's gonna go to Ludwig. Again, Sinners was the movie that like people who aren't really cinephiles like just talked about. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody talked about that film. And I think musically, people were like playing, like at work. Like one time I was at work and like a coworker was just playing the soundtrack to that film. Like, a guy who's like not a cinephile or anything, or like not a film soundtrack lover, but he was playing the soundtrack to Sinners. So I think that should tell you everything. Original song, I'm not super familiar with this, but there's Sinners in there, and then there is Train Dreams with Nick Cave. Interesting. It might go to Train Dreams just to give a little something to Train Dreams. It might go K-pop Demon Hunters. My God, yeah, I Lied to You from Sinners. I think though it's between Golden and I Lied to You from Sinners. I just think that's what it's gonna be. So my God, fucking K-pop Demon Hunters. I could very well be wrong, but like I don't know. That's just what my gut says. Production design: Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Production design. Frankenstein was absolutely incredible because, like I said, it's incredibly. Guillermo del Toro is all about creating his own world. You know what I mean? Like it's all about like going ham with production, with prosthetics, with makeup, hairstyling, all of that. Like, and the attention to detail in that film. Although a lot of it was CGI too. That film had a lot of CGI. So I'm not sure. Marty Supreme, sure, yeah, it was incredibly accurate to the time. It was great. I think One Battle After Another probably would win as well. I don't know. I might have to go with Sinners on this one. Just because I think the locations of that film are incredibly iconic, like the trains, the train scene, and obviously the juke joint scene of that film. That film is very minimalist, right? Because it is set in like the 30s, 40s, right? Like that sort of thing, or 1920s, I'm not sure. But it's very minimalist, but yet there's so much like care and attention. Even like the church, the opening, and I don't want to spoil, but the opening of that movie, the location of that, even that is like, just perfect. Even though, I mean, it's not the most impressive, but like it has nuance to it. And obviously the juke joint location was fantastic too. So, and then there was a section in that movie where like, things just get completely like, just like, you feel like you're opening Pandora's box, in that little juke joint, and it gets pretty crazy. So One Battle After Another has more large scale, like impressive production design. Sinners is just much more minimalistic. So again, between One Battle After Another and Sinners. It just depends where they go with that one. Best live action short film, I'm going to skip that. Achievement in sound. F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Sirat. So sound, doesn't just have to do with music, right? So it has to do with sound design. It's going to go to F1. It's going to go to F1, dude. I mean, just that movie made you feel like you were in the hot seat of an F1 vehicle. The racing, the tracks, absolutely heart pounding, visceral. It's going to get it. It's going to get it. Sound design was peak with that film. Visual effects, Avatar Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth. Really? Jurassic World Rebirth? I mean, that was pretty good. It was really good. I'm not going to lie, but that's surprising. Wow, Jurassic World Rebirth can say, we are an Oscar-nominated film. The Lost Bus, I actually never seen that film. And then Sinners. Visual effects in Sinners were pretty good. It's going to go to Avatar Fire and Ash. It better. If it doesn't go to Avatar Fire and Ash, I mean, these films just keep getting better and better. I mean, my God. I mean, it's just, Avatar Fire and Ash borderline looks real. It just does. So yeah, it better go to Avatar Fire and Ash. If it doesn't, I'm going to be very, very pissed. Definitely. Adapted screenplay here. Interesting. Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. Ooh, boy. I think Guillermo del Toro is really, really unique with his take of Frankenstein. I mean, it was an adapted, right? So there's a little bit of originality there. Sometimes, you can go fully complete faithful to the source material. It might go to Hamnet. One Battle After Another is loosely based on the novel. So I think Paul Thomas Anderson takes a little bit more creative freedom with that. I think it's going to go to Hamnet. I think this is the award that Hamnet will most definitely win. I mean, it's sort of like, it's the story of William Shakespeare and his wife and the tragedy that befell his life, and then the connection of the Hamlet play, right? Like it's what inspired him to write Hamlet, right? And it's great. It's absolutely great, and I think it was adapted perfectly to the screen. And then here we go, original screenplay, which is the category that I care about the most, or not the most, but more than adapted. Blue Moon. Wow, really? Blue Moon I got to see that film. It Was Just an Accident. Haven't seen that one. Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value. Oh boy. I feel like Blue Moon might win this one. Just to give, just the Oscars give a little bit of love to to Blue Moon. I think Marty Supreme, yeah, it's loosely based on the life of the real ping pong player, and it goes completely just bonkers. Like it is completely it is a roller coaster ride. There it is. It's a killer script. It's a killer script. I think it might go to Blue Moon, even though I haven't even seen the film. I haven't seen it, but Blue Moon is sort of it's like there's Sinners, there's One Battle After Another, there's Marty Supreme, and then like on the side over here, there's Blue Moon being critics being like, the Blue Moon, so it might go to Blue Moon. I think it's between Marty Supreme and Sentimental Value. What's going on, everybody? Future Super Jesus Jackson here, just jumping right in because I cannot believe that I did not read that Sinners was on this original screenplay list. So disregard everything that I'm saying. The race is between Sentimental Value and Sinners, in my personal opinion, but I think it's going to go to Sinners ultimately. However, personally, it would be a tie between Sentimental Value and Sinners because Sentimental Value alone, I mean, just the exploration that movie has, with a father and his daughter, and just the tension, the disappointment, the disillusionment, and then, the suicide themes in that film, and how, when you think of the way that the scenes speak to each other, the beginning, the middle, and then the end, the exploration of those themes, of that family tension that a lot of us can relate to, you know what I mean? And again, the mental health, themes to it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and the way it uses location and setting to enhance its themes as well is beautifully written, beautifully done. Sinners, on the other hand, the way that it explores vampire lore, and it sort of reworks that and adds its little small touches to it. It's setting the time that it's set in, and it's obviously it's cultural and social themes that are interwoven into this story. The characters of Smoke and Stack, I mean, just absolute genius. Absolute genius. The films sort of focus on art, right, and how powerful that is. And at the same time, when it comes to the cultural and social themes to it, it's, you expect it to be a sort of very generic, white versus black, type of story. But it's much more nuanced than that, it's genius, dude. It's absolute genius. So I think the Oscar is going to go to Sinners ultimately, but my personal pick, my ultimate personal pick would probably be Sentimental Value, just because of how touching and beautiful it is, and it's so fragile. But Sinners is a total cinephile, philosophical, pick for sure. So that is it. That is all. I'm sure there's a lot more other categories, just like the Grammys, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe these are all the categories. Probably, I think maybe it's not like the Grammys where they have all these other very smaller scale categories. So that is it. And I gotta say, man, I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, but there's some for sure winners. Like I said, Best Picture, I think it's going to be one battle after another. I think it's the top critic sort of choice, but also it's the cinephile choice. And also, we can't deny, I mean, it's the Oscars. They have they are in many ways left of center. And I think one battle after another aligns with that sort of ideal. And people who vote, who are on the voting board for the Oscars, it's the arts, right? It's more left of center. So one battle after another aligns with that sort of idea, even though I think the beauty of one battle after another is that sort of the frosting of the movie is political, but at the core of it, it's just a dad trying to get to his daughter. That's the core of it, and that's what great filmmaking is, right? Where it doesn't feel like the entire point of the story is to sell you a message, So props to one battle after another. If it wins, I'm not going to be mad. But there we have it, everybody. That was pretty lengthy. I got really into it, so I'm sorry. Let me know if you want more videos like this, where I'm talking a little bit more about, sort of movie news, music news, whatever. Let me know if this is entertaining for you. I had a lot of fun sort of analyzing and giving my thoughts. But let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win? Give me your educated guess, but give me your personal guess. What was your favorite film of the year? I'd love to know. Give this video a like if you like, dislike it if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content. You want to see more stuff like this. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you, you beautiful creature. But I think that's it for me. You all take care, stay safe, and until next time, I love you.